Hi, welcome to Sugar Free. This is a reading for the new year and Jupiter going direct. It's going direct in Taurus from the 30th of December, so it's already turned. And it's been retrograde for several months, so, it might have been a bit of a muddy slog, a muddy uphill slog. But anyway, it's just turned and it's expansionary. It's joyful. It's new projects, growing stuff. It's just wonderful. And for it to be in Taurus, the nature sign, the earth sign, wonderful, 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 wonderful energies. So I'm going to pull 3 major arcana from the ancient Italian tarot. And then I'm going to clarify each of those major arcana, or dig into each of those major arcana with one from each suit of the minor arcana here. This is the Rider-Waite split into its suits. So I think we've got Pentacles, Wands, Swords, and Cups. And this is the major arcana of the Rider-Waite, which I may or may not use to clarify towards the end, to sort of shut the reading off. So there we go. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at how this expansionary energy of Jupiter kind of works with the solid lump of muscle that is Taurus the bull. And the sort of the power of the plod, right? Now, the plod means police in England, but the power that comes from just, standing your ground, basically, and being sort of rooted in the earth. That's the quality of Taurus. And, no nonsense, apart from when it comes to kind of sensory enjoyments, in which case it's a very serious business if you're a Taurus. My son is in Taurus, so I do like my food, my wine. Not a huge fan of chocolate, not too bothered about that, but I have my little enjoyments in life, shall we say. I truly do. And I allow myself to enjoy those as and when I wish. But moderation, all things in moderation. So the moderation energy of Taurus mixed with the expansionary energy of Jupiter. I mean, there are some wonderful possibilities that can come from that, and also perhaps some tension. So that's what we're going to look at now. So new year, off with a pop. Let's go. We got the star. How beautiful. We know where we're going. It's clear. It's absolutely clear. And we are confident to the point where we'll just kind of go ahead very quietly because we know where we're going. Very often there's a sort of careening, bulldozering sort of progress through something comes because we're not actually sure what the outcome is that we're working towards, or what the motive is or something. So we kind of fill up that energetic space with lots of action. But this is really quiet, this star energy. So we've been through the tower. This card follows the tower when everything we thought we knew has just been shaken to its foundations. And we didn't see it coming. And we're out the other side of that. So, we've got a clear direction here, and we're very, very comfortable in that. We're so comfortable we can just be quiet and just get on with it. It's very light in a sense. I mean, she's barely clad. There's no sort of really heavy energy here at all. But there is something very steady about it. Because I mean, it's the individual, it's the perspective of the individual that seems to indicate things moving and changing. But this appears, anyway, from our perspective, to be fixed. Yeah, we can look into the sky, and I mean, if it's the North Star, it'll always be in the same position. And that's what I'm getting off this, a very clear sense of there being a North Star and a clear direction of travel and quiet confidence. Very, very nice. Moon in reverse. Yeah. Draining away, that draining away of the kind of claggy energy, the murky energy of Venus in Jupiter retrograde. That's quite a serious business. And it has been a bit of a slog. I don't know about you, but it certainly has been for me. Things shifted in sort of October or so. Things started kind of dismantling themselves somehow in October. And now we've got through to the end of the year. And there's a wholesale shift in the energy, and it drains the swamp. That's it. Basically, it drains the swamp. And I know that's a controversial little trio of words. And temperance. Oh my word. Very nice. Very, very nice. You know, this is stability. This is self-possession. This card follows the death card. And once we've got our head around impermanence, in terms of it being maybe an element of our thinking as we go through life, yeah, and that's what the death card number 13 represents. And we come out the other side of that in a much more balanced state. But, you know, I very often pull these two cards together. When the Star or Temperance comes up, the other one is quite likely to come up. And we've got this interesting play going on here with the two vessels. Because in the Star here, we've reached a point of confidence in terms of our flow, if you like. We're really in the flow here, and we are the flow. But it's so peaceful. This is that we've got enough to give away, and we're confident in pouring it. We're not holding on to it anymore. Whereas here in Temperance, which is a few cards earlier, because I mean, death is the death card that precedes Temperance is about the inevitable demise of the individual. No matter what we have heaped up in life, no matter what we've gained, no matter what we've accrued, it all goes when we go. That brings us into a space of stability, but we're keeping things sort of in-house. We need to weigh up the matter of impermanence of self. We need to weigh it up. By the time we get to, and that's why the fluid's just going from one vessel to another. It's not coming in from anywhere, and it's not going out to anywhere apart from those two vessels. So everything is self-contained here. Here, we've gone through another like facet of impermanence, of change, and that was the Tower, where, as I say, everything we thought we knew, everything we took for granted about who and what we are and what shape our lives is just like boom, rapid unscheduled disassembly. And the difference with the Tower card is that it is actually caused by something. That change is caused by something, but it's caused by a sort of conglomeration of random events. You know, and that's how change can happen sometimes. It really can, you know, and we can all be forgiven for not being able to predict it. We really can, because things do work in mysterious ways. And saying that, the mysteriousness of it is fading, okay? It's fading. And we bring ourselves back into balance. And the moon in the reverse here is the kind of the ending of a period of obscuration and finding it difficult to make out what's going on in the gloom. It's not necessarily becoming clear yet, but the gloom is sort of beginning to sharpen. Things are coming into focus, basically. It's really, really lovely energy. So I'm going to pull first. I'm just going to do this traditionally, so to speak, i.e. the way I normally do. Let's have a look at the star, because this is the immediate energetic environment in which we find ourselves. Yeah. Seven of Pentacles. We've put in the work. We've been shoring up our capacity to trade in the world. So perhaps we've been skilling up, getting some new experiences, new knowledge, and we're ready to put this into action. Now the harvest is ready. Very nice. Very, very nice. Seven of Wands. Sorry, Nine of Wands. Easy mistake to make. It's about defensiveness. Yeah, I think perhaps we're feeling a bit battered and a bit nervous. A little bit nervous. There've clearly been some bumps along the road and some aspects to the Jupiter retrograde that is ending now. Some aspects to that have left us feeling a bit a bit self-protective, shall we say. But I would say in this reading, in this context, this is not as necessary as it may appear. I think it's behind us, okay? The need to have a wall, it is literally behind us. The need to have a wall is behind us, all right? We've left that behind. But, once we've been sort of traumatized by something and sufficiently traumatized on whatever scale to build some defenses for ourselves, it can be quite a step to start taking those defenses down, or not sort of surveying them all the time to make sure they're still in good nick. And to be frank, it doesn't look in very good nick. I've got to say, it really doesn't. We're a bit like battered around the edges here. But look back to this, to the star. We've done a lot, we've achieved a lot, and we've built a lot, but we're tired. There's a tiredness here. Two of Swords. Oh, and the Queen of Cups. Oh, I'm always so pleased to see her. Yeah, we can't see at the moment yet the best way forward. And there's an awareness here that our resources in terms of time, energy, and generalized sort of power power of being like a conscious body is limited, and we need to make the right decision. And there's a stasis here in terms of that, but we know something is going to change. We can just feel it. And the overriding, even if we don't know what direction it's not so much what direction is it going to take us in, it's in what direction are we going to choose to travel in. And deep down, we do know, and it's about this. It's about love. And it's about how best to live in order to manifest love. That's what we're concerned with here. It's very, very rich, beautifully rich column here. We're in a good position. But with some of the difficulties that we've been through, it's perhaps a bit difficult to see that we're in a good position. But there's such wisdom in the star, and there's great wisdom in Temperance as well. We have the wisdom to know that right now, in this snapshot of the present energy, the contemporaneous energetic environment, we have enough wisdom to know that it's not time to go this way or that. But we know what our overriding principle is, and it is the expression of love. This is not love in and of itself. This is the beauty that occurs when one human being beams their love in a particular direction. It's absolutely, oh, it's just so lovely. So lovely. Oh, I love her so much. I really do. So yeah, that's where we are. Quite a mix of energy, but all underpinned with love and overarched by the star that has survived the tower. And here we have temperance that has survived death, or that kind of blooms in us, like those lovely flowers, blooms in us once we have taken on board the fact that we don't last forever and we can't take it with us. Basically, it really does change the game. Right, let's look at the moon in reverse here, which I'm so pleased to see it in the reverse. Okay. Every aspect of how we operate in the world in terms of trading our power, our time and our energy, our knowledge, our skills, all of that, because that's what the Pentacles is about. Every aspect of that is going to become clearer. I'm seeing these 10 Pentacles here kind of starting to twinkle. And then there's another one over there. And then there's another one over there as this gloom, as this like weird, fuzzy sort of obscurity begins to clear and become more crystalline. Things become illuminated. And one by one, each area of your life, because we've got a generational picture here. It's the complete story. It's completion. It's the global overview of this trading power element of the Pentacles. And one by one, we're going to notice these things lighting up. So keep your eye out for that. This draining away is quite slow. So our eyes will have a chance to get adjusted. Okay, Queen of Wands. Majesty. I'm going to go, it's just Majesty. King of Swords. Majesty. And the Knight of Cups. How absolutely lovely. Really kind of stepping out with the cup of love. Actually, like offering it. This is the tender joy of contemplating with love the object of our love. This is about actually getting on the horse and going out there and giving it. And we give it because we've got it to give. So finding a home for this connection, beautiful energy of active stepping towards connection. Yeah, listen, as this drains away, this moon in reverse kind of takes place, because like a planet like Jupiter, you know, it's not a kind, it's a really multi-dimensional entity. And it's very unlimited. Well, it is unlimited. Something that is either limited or unlimited. You can't say it's very unlimited, can you? It is unlimited. And as it moves direct, we move from the Two of Swords to the King of Swords, and a decision is taken. this column here is the sort of, if you like, the predictive column in this reading, because this is what unfolds as this gloom clears, like the marshy mists, the humours and the vapours. It clears, and we take a decision here, and we're certain of it to the point where we actually like express it in the world, and it has authority of its own. And you know, the world listens, and action is taken, with great grace and favor, if you like, with great grace and majesty. I'm just seeing majesty in that. Is it's dignified, it's sure. Again, it's authoritative because it's a royal. And we start building something, and we start building something in a kind of, it's really interesting, this, because the majesty and the authority of the Queen of Wands is sort of tempered by what that sunflower does, the way it moves from one orientation to another as it follows the sun here. There's a sort of fluidity in that, and yet, you know, she is very, very certain of her position there. And that really bespeaks in this reading today real possibility, a great spectrum for creativity in how we move things forward. And, you know, the ability to sort of adjust our ideas to fit the circumstances, basically, or to fit, like, you know, taking on new data, new information, not being fixed and rigid. You know, she can get up off that throne anytime. And you bet you, when she gets up off that throne, she's doing some like full on yoga and like wushu or something, you know, and it's just like, oh my God, look at her. She's amazing, man. So, you know, there's, as I say, great scope for flexibility that remains authoritative. You know, if it is a good idea to change direction, and it won't even be a case of if it looks like a good idea. That's where we are in Two of Swords. We're not willing to take a step here. But here we do. Here we do. Yeah, it's not even that it looks like it's a good idea to change of direction. Here in the King of Swords, it just is, because we got the new data. And we're able to take that on flexibly in a very, very global way in terms of all the different areas of our lives, because this is what we want to do. So, and these two cup cards so far really come back to this star. That is the direction of travel. There is a clear direction of travel. But I think this takes some time, but by God, it's very, very powerful with these two royals here. This has got legs, this thing, but it doesn't happen like that. It happens more gradually, as it's a bit like, you know, when dawn is coming, basically. And like, if you're watching, it's very difficult to discern, and you know, it's a clear day or whatever, or clear night turning into a day. It's very difficult to discern the actual moment. I mean, there's a moment of what we call sunrise, which is really the planet just having rolled over to the point where the sun becomes visible again. But this doesn't happen. These changes don't happen. It's not like all these come on, all these pentacles suddenly light up all at the same time. And then you swing into action, you know exactly what you're doing, and tally how you jump on. No, it's slow. It's slow. I mean, as I understand it, Jupiter is in Taurus until May 2024, I think, some point in May, in which point it moves into Gemini. So, you know, there's a period of time coming up, and usually in these readings, this second column is the hidden energy. So there's a lot to look forward to here. There really is. There really is. And I'm not even seeing any cautionary kind of like just like try not to blah blah blah, or don't forget to blah blah blah. I'm not even really seeing that here. This unfolds naturally. Let's have a look at temperance. Look at that. This side, that side, this side, that side, with those two vessels. This side, that side, this, yeah. So we might be literally juggling two principal like power trades in the world. You know, perhaps we're studying on something new on one side and working a job or two to keep that all going on the other side. We diversify, basically. We diversify because we're in a position to do so. And I'm getting that off the temperance card. You know, we're on solid, I don't know about so much about solid ground, but we're in a very, very stable energy here, very stable space. And our stance is very stable. And it's kind of blessed, really. It's absolutely beautiful. So, you know, we're in a good position to sort of juggle different options here, and to do so in a way that isn't affected by or isn't primarily about emotion with the water there. Yeah, that's all going on in the background. And in the meantime, we're here kind of, yeah, juggling different options and kind of enjoying it, like doing a little dance with it. Really nice. I'm not going to say anything rude about his hat, but I just did, really, didn't I? Naughty. Page of Wands. Okay, yeah, we settle on something. We settle on something. There is a principle, like pillar to this unfolding and this expansion here. And I'm really pleased to see that, because here there's a lot of, as I said, this sort of spectrum for possibility. There is a choice taken here, and it's something that is carefully thought about. You know, what I'm seeing off this today is that he is really being very careful about choosing that wand and surveying it and making sure it is right for his purposes, because, you know, he needs it. It's important that the right thing be chosen. And I don't know, maybe he's giving this one last look to make absolutely sure he's happy with it before he basically owns it and it becomes part of his progress going forward. It's not speculative in that you know, he's not sure. This is just really, really being careful about what is being committed to. Because once we move past that 2 of Pentacles stage and we're on to the 3, you know, we've set some stuff in motion. So this is about making sure that we've chosen the right thing, basically. And again, I'm getting nothing dodgy off this at all. I think we have chosen the right thing, and we put time into doing so. I was saying, I'm not saying anything dodgy here. And I had a little thought. I thought, well, I've got 2 cards left to go. And here we have the 7 of Swords. Okay. There's a fine line, right? There's a fine line between not blabbing the farm and basically taking decisions about what to say to whom, in order to get a good result out of whatever it is. And, if you give a shit about people, that includes the result, like benefiting others as well as you, or certainly not damaging others. So, it pays to be judicious in our speech, but it's a fine line between that and the sin of omission, whereby, something you don't say, the not saying of it has a negative outcome, even if your intention was good. And that's why it's deemed a sin. It's unproductive, it's unhelpful, and it's perhaps carried out. You've got to be really careful about decisions about what to say and what not to say to people, because a lot of people talk too much. Says the incredibly garrulous, verbose tarot card reader. A lot of people talk too much, and people give themselves away. And sometimes it's good. It's better to just like keep your trap shut, But it's all about your motivation. If you're not saying things because, it's not necessary to say them, and, it might just cause a bit of, utterly unnecessary hoo-ha potentially, then just like keep things to yourself. It's fine. You don't have to tell everyone everything. But if you're not saying something because you're worried about what might ensue if you did, right, then that's another matter. That's another matter. So that's the first note of caution I see here. Be clear on your motives for what is not said. And that just came out channeled, and I'm going to leave that there. And another page. How lovely. Page of Cups. And we've sort of not reduced the offer so much. I would say with this Page of Cups today, something rather unlikely might present itself as an opportunity around this energy, this wish to give, because our love is as boundless, our bounty is as boundless as the sea, our love as deep in the Queen of Cups, and we want to take it out there, and there's the kind of motivation to take it out there. There's an unexpectedness to this for me today, and a bit of a kind of a left field. And it's something to do with this Page of Pentacles. Okay. Don't allow yourself to get distracted. All right? Because the moment she gets distracted, there's a spillage. The moment he gets distracted, there's a droppage. If he gets distracted, he chooses the wrong tool for the wrong job. If he gets distracted, he's either saying too much to the wrong person or not enough to the right people. And like effing up the kind of decisions about what's said to whom, when, about what. There's an invitation here to not necessarily like blindfold yourself here in the Two of Swords to sort of perhaps some rather tempting offers. Okay. Not necessarily blind yourself to it, but just keep your flipping eye on the prize. Keep your eye on the prize. And the prize here is these two cards, these two cup cards, and this star. Because this just endures. This is absolutely beautiful. Everything in this reading is built around these 3 cards. So like, don't try not to go off half-cocked, all right? Because there's some fantastically authoritative energy here. I mean, you can't imagine him going off half-cocked, can you? There he is, look, with all that authority of speech and thought. And he's sitting there so grave and so sort of, I don't know, almost like he wasn't expecting to end up there. And he's not into it. He's not grandiose, is he? Look, he's just sitting there, like really calm, because that's what he was born to do, maybe, it would appear. Can you imagine him there with all that gravitas saying, and this is copying from an English comedy show, saying, come here, I have an order I have a command to tell the nation. and they all run up. Yes, sire, what is it? What do you want to communicate? And he says, I'll have a packet of fried cod and chips with salt and vinegar and a pot of curry sauce and a can of Coke. It's like, what a waste. What a waste. So try to really appreciate this expansionary energy that comes here, and just stay steady as like expansionary Jupiter like fills the space of earthy Taurus. Now that did sound rather rude. Let's cap this off with 3 major arcana. It's lovely. This is really, really beautiful, especially that middle column. My word. People go off half-cocked when and sort of jump too soon and say too much when they're not like really rooted in themselves, when they're sort of jumping ahead and sort of imagining this and imagining that and getting triggered off their own kind of inner like visions, if you like, getting triggered off it. And they're not integrated with what's actually around them because they're not integrated with themselves. And there's a fear of sort of not getting what you want in the moment. So you just like say the wrong shit and go off down the wrong road. That's the only note of caution here. Try to stay rooted in yourself, because this is where it's really at. This Queen of Cups moving into action with the Knight of Cups. Hold on a sec. I'm going to get a different one because I'm giving a very clear sort of, I'm not going to cap that off. I'm going to get an oracle card. I'm giving a really clear, like, this is fantastic. This is the thing to watch. And I say, you know, I call it going off half-cocked out of just a sort of sense of scatteredness. And that can only come, you know, that sense of scatteredness is always like a trauma response. When, you know, when the mind isn't sort of, I'm going to pull a Buddhist prayer card. When the mind isn't in a stable, centered state, and that usually happens, that decentering and that destabilizing usually happens as a result of trauma. So there's healing to be done here in order to like really, really open up the territory for this beautifully authoritative and rich energy here in this second column. Right, I'm just going to open this. So I'll pick a card, I see it. Tis that one. No, I haven't got my reading glasses. I don't know if I'll be able to see it in this light. Let's have a look. Oh, Now, this is from the 1st century BC, all right? From Dhammapada, 1st century BC. So it's 2000 flipping years ago, mate. Right. Let a man overcome anger by love. Let him overcome evil by good. Let him overcome greed by liberality. Let him overcome the liar by truth. Oh. So we got real like a story of opposites here going on here. That does bring me back to this Two of Pentacles. Sorry, it's Two of Swords, Two of Pentacles. We got these dualities of qualities here. Let a man overcome anger by love. Okay, so there we see what the antidote and what the quality that vanquishes anger is love. And there it is. I mean, the only faintly angry card we've got on the table really is this Seven of Swords. There's nothing else like neggy on this at all, really. So be loving in your words, basically. And if you can't say it with love, maybe it's better not to say it. It's funny, I had a colleague once who the first time I met them said that I was to speak to them with kindness. And that set the tone for a very, very weird working relationship. Very weird indeed. Say it with kindness, they said. And it was like having that put on me was very, very odd because I had had no chance to like express anything with kindness. I'd just introduce myself to them. But choosing to say what you say, and there's a lot about this here in this reading, like speech born of thoughts is it features very strongly here. If you cannot speak without anger towards the person you're speaking to or about someone else, if you can't do that, keep it shut, basically. Okay, so let a man overcome anger by love. Let him overcome evil by good. Because he's so tempting, isn't it? Like if you can't beat them, join them. So tempting. Evil kind of drags us down. But only if we allow ourselves to be angry. That's what really, really drags us down. Let him overcome greed by liberality. I wonder why they didn't say generosity. But that's kind of counterintuitive in a way, because greed is a kind of proliferatory energy, isn't it? And so is liberality. But greed is the ever expanding like appetite that is never sated, like not even temporarily. And liberality is kind of, I don't know, maybe it's sort of a bit like impartiality somehow. Because we're not necessarily greedy for everything, are we? So just give, basically. Just give in order to counteract greed in others. Just give, but don't just give to them. Give to everybody. Like be open, be loving, be generous. and let him overcome the liar. Doesn't say dishonesty, so we've moved from an abstract, like abstract nouns to to an actual person. The liar by truth. Now that's a really tricky one sometimes. Really, really tricky. Because if there is an active liar, and there's something going on with that here with this Seven of Swords, even if it's just by the sin of omission, which is what I was talking about before. And again, I said here in the first one, if you can't say it with love, like just like keep it shut. But it's this juxtaposition, as I said here, of knowing when to say and knowing when you want to speak and when you don't want to speak. It's all about the motivation. Because when there is an active liar, like running amok in your life, sometimes you've just got to wait until other people work it out for themselves. If you know that that's going on, sometimes you've just got to wait for other people to work it out and let the poison sort of flow through. Because sometimes if you sort of go, I mean, obviously, if somebody says to you, oh, so-and-so told me that you did blah, 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 and it's not true, you've got to say something, but somehow like getting like really involved with what a liar is saying, you've got to separate yourself from it. You've got to separate yourself from it. And there's some quality of the truth in that. Because if your ego is getting like pricked and kind of like shoved around by lies, and you react back through the ego, it's going to come with anger, it's going to come with evil, and it's going to come with some sort of wish to acquire something. And that's not going to get you anywhere. So really, it's all about motivation here. Make sure as we go through this expansionary and yet earthy energy, make sure that your North Star never veers in terms of what you say, not so much what you do. I'm good with that, but what you say and what you don't say. Make sure that this is your guiding principle, because what you have to give here is really, really beautiful and is, at this stage, on however small a scale, a real gift to the world. So make love the root motivation of everything that you do. And even if you hit a few bumps in the road, you cannot actually go wrong. Right. I'm going to leave that there. Dear viewer, dear listener, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.